Awesome. Gangsters, man, myth, legend. I always say that at the start of every video, by the way, Ethan. Anyone who doesn't know, this is Ethan, one of my absolute legend clients who's joined very recently. Got insane results, which we're going to obviously go through in tons of things today. But Ethan, anyone who doesn't know you, how would you introduce yourself, your career, your hobbies, just you as a bloke, really, mate?
So for me as a person, I am in the military. I'm in the navy. So with that comes like a lot of challenges and stuff. But hobby wise, I think is really sort of who I am. A lot of that, and that's I like to go running. So I really like running and sort of just like park runs, 5Ks,
Nice.
10Ks, and all that kind of stuff.
Awesome, man.
Um, yeah,
Perfect. Mate, I just say generally all round nice guy, like you said, like currently in the military, like, you wanted to excel post training and, you wanted to really push yourself, which is one of the biggest things. And like everything you're doing has been really good. And like, so sort of diving into that, like, prior to the program, what was, because we talked for, fuck me, how I probably shouldn't swear in this, but how it was quite a while, wasn't it? It was like
yeah.
6 to 12 months. I think we were having a conversation back and forward. And it kind of always felt like you said you're really into your part runs, but then it was the other stuff that you weren't really sure of. But like, what problems were you having prior to the program with, let's say training, nutrition, mindset, confidence? What were the issues you faced prior to this, really, mate?
The big thing for me was like education. So like I said, like I enjoy running, and generally, if I ever felt like I needed to do fitness, like my go-to was to just throw on my running trainers, run a 5K, run a 10K, or whatever, you know. But I sort of realized, like, I personally wanted to be stronger. Like, I wanted to not just be good at running. I wanted to also, be able to smash out a CrossFit workout or something like that. Be a little bit more well-rounded, a little bit more balanced.
Perfect. Perfect.
And I realized I just didn't know how to do that. Whenever I'd like tried to go to the gym or whenever I'd like watch YouTube videos or downloaded apps or whatever, I just felt like I just couldn't quite get into it, you know?
Oh, 100%. And like, a big thing I think a lot of lads want to do, and you probably definitely were in this camp, is like you want to improve your fitness, but you want to maintain a job life, a social life, like, and increase your confidence at the same time. And like a huge thing, I talked to a lot of guys, and this is why I kind of was quite persistent with you, is you were kind of lining two things up when you were like, I run a lot, Alex, and I don't really know what else to do apart from run. And my confidence is not where I want it to be, but I don't really know how. And there's this weird like gap, isn't there, of like all these things that you've just listed, and then like I'm not really sure how this is where I want to be, and then this part in the middle, which we've really tried to fine tune, is hopefully you're going to say in a minute the Warriors, but you might not, you might be like shit. But I don't know, but like so I suppose that was a big thing. And do you remember where you scored your confidence prior to joining us? Do you remember where that sort of was roughly?
Really low. It was like a 3 out of 10, I think
Yeah.
we said. Yeah.
I think that's a big thing, isn't it? Where like and a lot of guys will really relate to that. They're out running or they're doing loads of classes or YouTube videos or all this mad stuff, and they're like, I just can't pin what I want to do to excel really. And how did you find? You don't have to go into too much detail, but how did you find that low confidence affected, say, your life, or why was it a problem? Like, why was that an issue? If that makes sense.
The thing that I found it was an issue was like you think about things like you think about, I'd like to do this aspect of my job. I'd like to, maybe do a triathlon or a Tough Mudder or a
Yes.
Spartan race or something like that. And I always thought like those were those kind of like fun things, but I just felt like I didn't have the confidence to go out and do them.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I just felt a bit lost, like kind of like I knew I had this end goal, which was to be able to do something. I wanted to be in a position basically where a mate could turn to me and say, fancy giving this like insane challenge a go. And I could be like, yeah, let's smash it. And I've had mates do that to me in the past, like that have been to do with running, and I've been like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. We
happy,
talked
I'll
about that, didn't
smash
we?
it.
Yeah.
But like anything else, it was a little bit more gnarly. I'd want to, but I just didn't have the confidence to get there.
That's literally it. And I think like a lot of guys will relate to that, is like fitness for me isn't just about like being able to smash out 5Ks or this. It's about the ability to have freedom, freedom of like, if I want to go run up a hill, I can run up a hill. If I want to do Snowdon, I can do Snowdon. Like not having this kind of like, oh, I'm not really sure of myself. And mate, that's massive. And I think that was a big thing that you said, like, there's that educational gap, and there's like, I just don't know. And exactly what you said there is like, you just didn't have the clarity or focus, which is what I talk a lot about, isn't it? Is that when you put something keyhold, it's like, I know exactly what I'm doing. It makes sense and I know where I'm going. But mate, that's awesome. And obviously, like we said, we got on a call, you're very similar to this, like spent a good
Yeah.
45 minutes, you had to make some hard decisions. And actually what was great, and I see it happen very often, and it happened a couple of times this week, is lads will they lean one of two ways, don't they? They go, oh, I'm fucking ready, let's do it. Or they have a little bit of a, debate in their head and then jump at it. And then the opposite side is they don't. But what happens, I find, is that because we've got those two things, we've got where you are currently, where you want to be, lack of education or lack of what to do in the middle. When they don't, they just stay here. So you've obviously taken the other option. To be really blunt, you financially invested in yourself, you've time invested in yourself, you've energy invested in yourself, because those are the three things you have currencies of. How has that paid off? Right. So you're in the program, you're 5 weeks in now. Where's your confidence now compared to like a 3? Where would you say it is now?
I feel like it is a lot higher. It's like an 8 or 9 or something. I just feel a lot more like if just capable. I feel like I could.
Nice.
I feel like I've got the mindset now where if I wanted to go and achieve something, I wouldn't be like, sounds cool, don't know how to get there, but it's more like, all right, let's smash this. Let's get this done.
Nice, mate. And like, that's amazing. Like, people are gonna be like, what? He's not even been in like 3 months. It's only been like a month and a bit. Like, and he's already at 9. Like, you imagine how much if you just keep chipping away. I always say, don't I? Like, I talked about this on Sunday, didn't I? Like, the way you brush your teeth and the way you wipe your ass every day is probably going to be roughly the same without even noticing it. Now, the same thing happens if it's detrimental. If you tell yourself every day you're not a confident bloke, you will become a not a confident bloke. When you're around like 30 odd of the lads and you're inspired, you're pushing yourself every day, you're saying, I'm working on this, I'm working on this. That develops that self-confidence, doesn't it? Have you found that really, that like that's been a big thing for you, really?
Yeah, it's about like consistently doing a little bit extra every day, and I think consistently, like to what they say, like in order to change the world, you've got to start with the first step or whatever. And I think a big part of it is to improve your confidence. At least for me, has been like consistently making those small changes to my life, whether that's consistently making sure that I get involved with the lads, with the social aspect of like the group chat and everything, or consistently smash my workouts. It's amazing how much a lot of the little bit of things can make. And like you say, like it's an investment in my time, of myself and of my time. But like when I actually look back and think about it, like the gym I go to, you sign in when you show up, and then you sign up when you go there, just so they can like track how much it's being used, whatever. Then I'll go there, and then when I leave, I'm clock, and I'm like, oh, I was. It felt like I was there for ages, but really, I was only there for like an hour. Which, like, an hour out of my day, that's like an hour that I'm not watching YouTube videos, or an hour that I'm not.
Oh, mate, it's so true. Like, we're very much singing off the same song sheet here. And like, I mean, you're up to now, I'm just going to triple check, but like 3-4 sessions a week, aren't you? So it's 4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And I always say it's like 164 hours, 168, something like that off the top of my head, in a week. The 4 hours out of that to get a training session in to feel fucking fantastic about yourself is massive. And like, well, let's start off with like, a lot of guys are going to ask, like when they first get on the call, the main thing that we always do, and it is, I get why lads do it, like the logistics of the program, like how it actually works. Like, you've tripled your confidence in the space of a month, right? Logistically, how do you feel this has benefited you when we look at those 5 keys, like plan, education, accountability, support, community? And we're actually revamping pretty much all of those soon, which is amazing. But like, how have you found that, mate? What have you found is good or bad about it? Like, what's been good for you?
For me, I think access to like videos and stuff, so like being sent workouts, having like a list of what I'm doing, getting like an email reminder or whatever before the day before, being like, just so you remember, like this is what you've got tomorrow. On top of that, like access to videos. So like I said, like running, I'm fine. If you ask me to like sprints or run distance, no questions, I'll smash it out. If you ask me to start doing like a front squat or like an overhead press, haven't got Scooby Doo. So it was being able to go onto the app, find videos that I could like watch videos before the session, in the session, to just double check my form. If I'm not going to the gym with somebody, that I found really helpful. It's having like the catch up calls. And it's something that I really find about this program is it isn't just getting like the workouts and the videos on how to do the workouts, but it's also like having that community access as well, because that's what makes it more than just like a personal trainer. Like I could go to my local gym and pay one of them to like thrash me, or I could be a part of this program which I can access from anywhere in the world. I get all my workouts and have a community of people who are like-minded that, again, I can talk to from anywhere in the world and have like weekly catch-up chats with people.
Yeah. I think that's the big difference. And I'm not slating PTs, but like I was a personal trainer before this, right? And the problem I had is that you're only really serving your clients once a week or maybe twice a week, max 3 times a week.
Yeah.
If you've got someone who's got, let's say, let's say it's £30 a session, that's probably like the going rate in the UK, right? So let's say that let's say someone was actually training with you 5 times a week, right? That would be then like, 150 quid a week. If you said like that's £600 per month, right? Now, obviously, my program isn't £600 a month. You know that. I won't go into what it is now because probably the prices will have changed by someone. We always keep slightly increasing whatever. But like, for £600 a month is the only way for a personal trainer to get individual one-to-one daily access to you. Whereas like you said there, mate, like every single day you've got a reminder from the group, you've got a reminder from me, you've got your check-in forms, you've got the weekly coffee catch-ups, you've got the weekly education. Tomorrow I've got like a hot seat where you guys can just ask me anything you want. Like I'm sure you'll agree as well, like the education with the physical side as well as all the stuff in the lab. I know you've got like Ollie Ollerton, mindset coaches. Like, how have you found that? Like the education on that front, as well as the training aspects, dude?
I think that education is massively underrated when it comes to like people getting involved with fitness and stuff. There's like a Latin quote I've heard that's like mens sana in corpore sano, which means like a healthy mind and a healthy body.
Nice.
And I think that's what it comes to. It's like I think I learned that from PTIs. I think that's their motto.
Probably, yeah.
But it's that whole thing, like you healthy mind and a healthy body. You've got to be educated, not just in fitness things, but talking about goals, talking about how you want to improve yourself, and the education is what gives you that access. It is like a two-pronged approach, which is like both necessary and fantastic.
No, awesome. That's brilliant. I think like you've been absolutely smashing it, and like it's a 6-month program minimum, and like we're obviously going on for a little bit longer. Like, what are you excited about for the next 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever? Like, what are you excited about for the future now? Even though this short, I always call this like the sprint, and you can see lads who do fucking well, but then like more and more and more and more of this. Like, what are you excited about for the future, dude?
I'm excited about achieving things that I hadn't even thought about achieving. So I remember like one of the first calls that we had, you were like, what are your goals? And I was like, well, I'd like to be able to do this many push-ups and this many sit-ups and this many pull-ups. And you were like, yeah, all right, that's fine. We'll get that done in a few months. I'm talking like goals, like actual. And I was like, I haven't even thought of this. And you were like, how does this sound? How does being able to like bench your body weight, squat twice your body weight? And I was like, that sounds pretty cool. And that's what I'm looking forward to is achieving those goals that we, that were like dreams in my head. I hadn't thought about them. You just sort of were like, how cool would this be? And I was like, fantastic.
Well, like David Goggins, I saw him talk about when he did his pull-up competition, and he had like 5,500 pull-ups, right? And like the thing he said like someone told him what the world record was, and I think at the time it was 5,000, and he worked out. It was like, right, how can I actually do this? Like, instead of looking at it as like, fucking hell, that's well hard, I'll never be able to do that. He literally just sat down and went, logistically and fundamentally, how is this possible to do? Like, how many pull-ups do I need to do per minute in order to get that done? And I think that's a huge thing that, like, mate, obviously, like, I'm just some random bloke, right, who just fucking with dyslexia, who wears big yellow glasses, and I happen to pass the Royal Marines like commando tests. And I always look at that and think, like, I never really thought that was possible until a guy called Di Phillips came and basically logistically told me how. It was like, look, you'll start here, you'll go here, you'll go here, you'll go here. And I think once I'd achieved that myself, I look at anything you guys tell me and I'm like, well, if we logistically lay it out, we will get there. Like, we just have to find the route to it. And that's what's great, I think, is like, changing your beliefs. And that's why I think, like you said there already, it's not just about like, we're just going to drop a couple of stone or whatever. Like, I don't really care like about that. It's pointless. Like, you can post that all you want. The big things I want are the guys who are like, I've just had a guy called Owen who's just fucking smashed an Ironman. Like, never thought that was possible. Like, he had it booked for a while, wasn't really sure with this, and he's crushed it. Like, that's brilliant. That's what I want your future to be like as well, Ethan, which is, you're there already, really. The confidence is taken care of. We just got to fucking keep the roadmap going. But I suppose last point, mate, is like, there's going to be guys, mate, just like yourself, and I know there are because I speak to them, that are kind of sat on the fence. They're not really sure. They're a bit like, oh, I've got to invest in it. I've got to do this. And like, what would you say to them if they're thinking about joining and they thought about it for 6 months to a year or, a little while, but, they're just not really 100% there yet? What would you sort of say to them from your opinion, dude?
I'd say be honest with yourself. I honestly sit down and say to yourself, do I realistically think I could achieve these things by myself? And for me, like you say, we were talking on and off for a while. Like, at least a year, I think. It was quite a long time. And it got to a point where you sort of said, think about it. And I thought about it and I said, thanks, but no thanks. And then a few months later, you were like, you know, just think about it again. And I sat down and I thought, you know what?
Yeah.
Honestly, am I going to achieve those kind of aspirations that we spoke about that first time we called by myself? Or, you know, will I be able to achieve them a lot easier if I have support?
Yeah.
And I was like, honestly, support. And it's been fantastic. You know, like it is an investment, but why not invest in myself? Of all the things to invest in, why not myself?
Mate, 100%. And like, you know, we find ourselves when it comes to money, like as blokes, like I've had 5 coaches in the last 2 years, but I've got 2 now currently, like a fitness coach and my own business coach. And like, and their business development is also personal development, which is huge. But like, I think that's the thing. Once you get a bit of a taste for it, you realize how valuable it can be. And like, I always say to guys, don't know, like, you know, do this now so that then the next 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years, 50 years, depending on how old you are, in your case, like probably like myself, 60 years really, you know, is set up well. It's like that prior preparation. You've invested in yourself now to get yourself on a good path so that you're prepared for the rest of your life. Like, and that's why, like, I know that if I asked you the question right now, you wouldn't be able to say because we haven't had long enough yet. But I feel like this is why, well, actually, I suppose I will ask you, like, do you think that this program can change people's lives, men's lives, and you can see exactly how it does that, if that makes sense?
Yeah. Yeah, I honestly do. I just think it gives you the tools and the skills and the community that you need to do that.
And that's why I always say, it's almost like I'm quite persistent, as you fully well know. And the reason being is like, I talked about it I voice noted. Did you listen to the voice note in the group just now? Like the one I sent before? You might not have, but
no, I didn't quite get that one.
It's all right. So I talked about the reason why, you know, I did everyone's check-in forms, got everyone done. And I said, look, the reason why I need you lads to do well is like, you are the leaders for the rest of the planet. Now, what I mean by that is, and I know it sounds a bit airy-fairy, and anyone who's like listening to this, bear with what I'm trying to say here, right? If you 30 guys do extremely well and you inspire 2 lads each in your local community, that's 90. If those lads then inspire 2 other people in their local community, that's suddenly, you know, like 100 and kind of work out 280, 260, 270, something like that. And before you know it, like each individual bloke is inspiring each other. And that's it. Like, this isn't just like you've said it, mate. There's a lot of individual processes I do with each of you, right? Of course, like it wouldn't be a coaching program otherwise. But alongside that, it's the mission and the purpose behind it is what really matters, you know. And that's it. Like, I want guys that keep inspiring each other. They keep inspiring people around them, and that's how it changes your life. Because if your life is on a set path right now, and you don't take action to do anything to change it, the next 60 years will pan out how you expect them. Like you said, when you're not honest and you're like, actually, I've got 10 years evidence for what I'll carry on doing for the next 60 if I don't change anything. Whereas I feel like when we come along, I do put a bit of a fucking shunt, don't I? I'm a bit like, nope, stop fucking doing that. Like, not in a horrible way, but I'm like, right, let's stop that, go that way. And then when you start traveling that way, build these beliefs, build these processes, that will change the direction. And I think when you change direction, that's literally changing the next 60 odd years, which is massive. But I'll stop blabbering on now because I do it every Sunday anyway. But mate, legend, you are a hero, dude. On that, Ethan, if anyone wants to message you, dude, and ask about the program, do you mind if they do that? Because I always
not at all.
I like that because it's full disclosure about the fact that I'm not hiding anything. Like, if you want to speak to the guys in that you're watching this of, you know, you're definitely going to speak to them when you join. So you may as well speak to them now, really. But mate, that's brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. You're a legend. I will obviously stop this recording and then we'll have a bit of catch up. Yeah, hero. Anyone watching this, obviously either comment below or above or wherever this is. And obviously, if you need any help, there will be a button somewhere where you can book in a call with myself and we'll go through if you're a good fit. And actually, if not, there's tons of guys that, you know, get tons of advice that we go through and they implement anyway. So it's always good. But yeah, legend, Ethan.